Hey, you guys, welcome to my home with Grace and Gratitude. So, today is Sunday, January 19th, 2025. I wasn't even thinking about that tomorrow was the inaugural day, but that just came into my mind. That's really bizarre. Anyway, I just wanted to welcome you in. I was having a lot of thoughts and was going through some stuff with spirit, and I got the vibe that I should just talk with you about it while it's happening. And also, I got the vibe that we need some. Spirit asked me to pull some cards for the week, so. And I don't want to do that, but at the same time, I know this deck. One of our tribe members, when she gave me this deck, I was like, are you sure this is for me? I'm like, I don't feel any attachment to it at all. And I really didn't. But boy, oh boy, oh boy, it's done a lot for the tribe. So she knew more than we did. Or I should say we. When I would say we, I mean me. I used to say we when I was a kid, and everybody was like, who's we? I'm like, oh, I mean me. It's like I've always known I was a we. We are one. Okay, so I'm going to get some water. Welcome in. I'm going to get some water. I had a good day and a rough day yesterday. Uh, Bubba's been up and down, man, and it's been so hard because she's so amazing, like she's so amazing and ethereal one minute, and the next minute it's like she's just this. It's like it's her, but it's not her. And I've dealt with elderly animals before. It's just different because when I ran I ran a rescue for like unwanted animals. So sometimes it was because they were elderly and people wanted to put them down, but they still had a good quality. I'm like, shit, they still have a fucking year, man. Don't just put them down just because, whatever. But now that I've been caring, because I cared for elderly animals, but I was in my 20s. It was different. I had a little more vigor, but also it was that they weren't mine. So it was like caring for, it was like being in hospice or something, being a hospice nurse or something. That's Bubba's drinking water. Drink water. Thanks, Mama. So it's different this time though because it's my best friend, and because I know her. And because anybody who knows Baba knows, like, she is like no fucking joke, man. She's her own entity, her own animal. So it's hard when she does things like that. Like yesterday, she just like peed on the bed right in front of me after I've just spent all day ripping it all apart and cleaning it and told her exactly what the story was. And normally, I would be able to just tell her something and she gets it. If she doesn't get it the first time, she'll definitely get it like the second. But this was like all day I was showing her what I was doing. She was watching me and I was like, telling her what I was doing to make the bed comfortable for us. The whole point was that I set it up with the, pee pads and everything like under the sheet. So if she had an accident, but when she got up and instead of literally jumping off the bed a foot, I mean, the way I have it set up for her, instead of jumping just that little bit, she just looked right at me and peed on the bed. And I'm like, oh, you just want to you're like, I want to tear you apart. I'm like, you're tearing me apart. Because I was just like, dude, really, 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 really? I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, fucking, it's like, usually winter is the time that I'm like chill as fuck and like getting my shit together. And in the last week, it's like, I didn't have my phone for 5 days. So just so you guys know, the reason why I kind of went dark is I didn't have my phone. It's a whole other thing. I actually shot a video of it. It was like an hour and a half long, but when I started watching it back, I think I hadn't done a video in so many days that I just was like telling you everything that happened. And by the time I was done, I'm like, I don't even know if I'd want to watch this for an hour and a half, but Bubba's on it. And anyway, so I'm not sure what they want me to do with that yet, but I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys because they wanted me to pull some cards for the week, but also I wanted to tell you that when I had this time off from my phone, I got so much done inside and outside my house. Things that I've been waiting to do with Alder, but now I'm like, we're separated. And I'm like, it needs to get done. I'm like, I need to see what I can do. And I was so proud of myself. I was like, seriously, so proud of myself because I did some things that like literally normally would take two people, but I did it slow and it was hard, but, I got it done. Anyway, hold on. Sorry. Some of you guys, sometimes I'm so many things, but one of the things that I am as well is a filter. So sometimes when I'm doing these videos for you guys, my body will start to want to purge. Like sometimes I'll get these loud burps and it sounds like a demon just escaped my body. I'm not kidding. But that's part of being a medium as well. It's like I'm a physical medium as well. You know what? With that being said, I'm going to sit down, and this is a new setup. I'm just trying something completely new. Bubba, sorry, I'm like so in your face. Hold on. Check this out. Isn't that nuts? I put it on pause and I was like, oh, I mean, the whole point of this episode is that I'm feeling super ungrounded. That's why it's all over the place. And then I got up and I turned around and I saw this and I was like, holy shit. I was like, look at this fucking lighting right now. What is happening? You know what's so interesting is that we're almost at the third quarter moon, which it kind of looks like that if you, I don't know which direction you're looking at, but if you put it like that, it's almost to the half again. Oh my goodness, which we are in the waning gibbous. That's amazeballs. Okay, so we are in the waning gibbous of reflect and release in real time. And basically what started this was that since when my phone was off, I recorded all of these readings and episodes and I needed something to do. Like I literally had no music, no nothing. Like I had I had nothing. And I have a radio that I had brand new batteries and a cord, and it was working, but it was like you could hear it, but you couldn't hear it. It was so fucking weird. It was like Spirit was like, you need a break. And it was cool too, because during that time, I had so much more energy towards Bubba. Like basically I thought for sure that that was it for her, because I was like, oh, that's what they're doing. I'm like, they want me to spend this time with her, I'm going to kind of turn this a little bit. And she's still here, which is great. But I'm just saying, like, they just wanted me to connect with her and connect with myself. And I've been back on my phone since Thursday night. Oh no, because Thursday night it was a new phone and I was uninstalling apps and I accidentally uninstalled something and accidentally hit this other button and it took me offline. And so I thought he forgot the SIM card. But I could call Alder, I could text him, but I couldn't get online. I was like, what is happening? I'm like, what's going on? And so Thursday night I didn't use my phone. That's right. So it was just Friday and Saturday. Sorry, I'm like, I'm like, I love it, but I'm like, whoa. But just 2 full days back on my phone. You guys, the phones are fucked. They are fucked. They are fucked. And you guys know, those of you who've been with me a long time know, like, I'm used to turning my phone off for long periods of time. I'm like, that's like a normal thing. Sorry, it's hard to, and in my tiny little home with a cat, it's like hard to keep both of us not furry. Yeah, no, this was different. And I realized that it had been a really long time since I had turned my phone off for like that long of time, which also made me realize that I need to do that more. Oh, don't look at that. I put little things in there to keep the critters out. I put like essential oils on little things of paper towel and shove them in the vents so that like ants and stuff don't come in here. Anyway, I didn't know I was going to do this. But I'm realizing how ungrounded I am again. So with that being said, I thought, let's do a little grounding. I have my, beautiful amethyst here. Let's see if we can get some sparkle and shine in there with Ra. Thank you, Ra. Nice. Nice. Woo! Ra's on fire. Yeah, you know what? I was like, I'm just going to be raw with you guys because it's just I'm really overwhelmed with what's happened over the last week, to be honest. And then having my phone not on for so long, it was like so crazy. It was crazy. Like just the thought of coming back to it, like I wanted to come back online and like I wanted to be with you guys. I want to be with you guys. It's like I wanted to do certain things, but I did not think that I would feel like this. And there is so much programming going on in the phones. It's actually a little frightening. It's really frightening to me. It really is frightening to me. I slept weird on my face. And I had a lot of salt last night. Actually, not salt, liquid aminos. But, it's like kind of like salt. Yeah. Just I've been having all these breakthroughs. Also last week I hurt my nose really bad. I split my nose open. I was doing something too quick and too fast and it fell on my face. And yeah, I was just having all these like fucking like comeuppance moments from spirit, and just my bad habits reared their ugly heads again. And yeah, there's just so much to be said. So with that being said, we're in reflect and release. Spirit, what energy do we want to focus on for this week? What energy do we want to reflect on and release? And thank you, Lori, for this deck. It's a powerful deck, man. It is a really fucking powerful deck. You know what's funny? Not funny, haha, but funny, interesting, is I realized something. Well, first of all, I just realized we were about to do some sound healing and some healing, and then I'm just, because I have the attention span of a gnat. So taking some deep breaths. This is what I'm talking about, by the way. Let's get grounded. We're also just a few days away from going from Capricorn to Aquarius. Aquarius is also, we're in the age of Aquarius. And then the new moon in Aquarius is on the 29th, and it's also the exchange from the dragons to the snake. Now, right now, I can feel them with my eyes closed. The dragons are here. So I call upon my higher self, your higher self. I call upon our spirit guides and our animal guides, the gods and goddesses, our benevolent creator, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, the ancestors, all angels, all those who watch out for us, those who I haven't called upon or mentioned. If you are meant to be here with grace and gratitude and love in your heart, with guidance of light, teachings of shadow, but guidance of light, you are welcome here. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for blessing us. Thank you for blessing this container. Thank you for blessing the United States over this week. I don't know what's going to happen, but it keeps coming up in my mind. So I'm sending it love. I'm sending our country love. I'm sending the planet love. The whole planet's going through a lot right now. I send all of us love, grounding, peaceful energy. Thank you, Spirit, that the inauguration is on the last day of Capricorn, because it's still in a grounding energy, but we are going into the air energy of Aquarius, which is also the water bringer, which is a water energy. So we bring in white light energy. And breathe out that which no longer serves our greatest and highest good. Thank you, Spirit, for blessing us. Thank you for blessing all who I spoke of and those who I may not have thought of. Whatever's in the greatest and highest good of planet Earth, right now and in this week, we ask you, Spirit, to put a heart around that half moon, that third quarter energy. Interesting that we're still, thank you, Spirit. Okay, the container is open. We're good. Thank you, everybody. I needed to do that. I needed to like be somewhere else for a minute. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, when I go there, it's like, this is just like, oh yeah, like, oh yeah, I look like that, or oh yeah, this is my house. I know. I mean, I love it. I'm just saying, like, it's very interesting. I wish I could explain it in ways that maybe you get it. Um, wow. Okay, so let's call in some prayer energy for the. Oh, I just heard the takeover. I gotta stop doing that. Meaning like the face. Sometimes when I watch old episodes of Sex in the City or the Sex in the City movie, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so animated like Carrie Bradshaw, like my facial expressions. I'm like, oh, I do that with my face. I'm going through a lot too. I feel like for a lot of us, this change and transformation with the dragon to snake is going to be so big. This whole year is going to be so big. I haven't been watching the news, but every so often something will go in my orbit. Just in the last, because obviously I didn't have my phone for like 5 days, but in the last like 48 hours, I've seen a few things where I'm like, I feel like people are really pushing back and fighting back for they just said for the takeover. Because it is. He didn't win legally. He didn't win legally. I think either something's gonna happen or I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see, Spirit. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on in my brain right now. These are the episodes where I'm like, are you sure you want me to put this out? Because I feel so unbalanced, but I feel like that's what's going on right now. It's just really unbalanced. Oh, interesting. So we're in reflect and release in the waning gibbous, or the waning gibbous. But when we get to the waning crescent, we are going to be in the rest and restore phase. So interesting. It's card number 20. You saw me fucking shuffle. Tomorrow's the 20th, inauguration day. Rest. Rest easy. Because shit's about to come down. You never know. Here's the thing. There's people like us everywhere. When I worked in politics, I knew who I can talk to and who I couldn't. I knew who I could trust and who I couldn't. Most of them I could not. I literally had about maybe 4 or 5 people in my office, and we had 2 vice presidents, so that'll tell you how big our firm was, because we were the biggest political PR firm at the time, and represented like several presidents and stuff, like Secret Service, that whole thing. So when you like get to that level, I mean, that's how it was then in the late 90s. And here it is, almost 30 years later, still same shit. So I'm going to tell you right now, both of the vice presidents of that company were worth 20 of the president. And he basically just collected checks and shit. But I mean, he was in it, but you know what I mean? Like in terms of like, I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. But those people that I could trust were so smart and savvy. And 2 were like Kamala, where some of them were law students or they went to medical school. Super, super smart, like book smart and street smart, which is very rare. So there's something going on. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a coup. And allowing it to go, because the adults in the room are like, yeah, this can go. Sorry, I forgot to put my phone in like whatever mode. But anyway, so they may be waiting for it to be a peaceful transfer and let it happen, and then take him down when he's in there, because the adults know that sometimes you have to let the children think they're winning so that the real medicine can apply. So I don't know, but there's a lot of emotional intelligent, so let's just send the whole thing good energy and say, I trust you, Spirit. I know you got our back. Like, I trust you. I have hope and faith. I believe in magic and miracles. I believe in a good government. I believe that there are good people in government too. See, the thing is when the term of throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? Like you take the baby out first and then you throw the dirty bathwater out. You don't pick it up and throw them both out. You hurt the baby or worse, right? So right now we have to, you know, things have to be done a certain way because free will was given to us. And when free will was given to us, when they said, "Hey, you know what? This is your life. This is your path. This is your planet. Take good care of it." But they put people like us, custodians, in charge. People who really love Earth, in my opinion, are like Lemurians or some type of like earth-born spirit. We're not just souls having an experience in an avatar like the movie, you know what I mean? Where they're like making a move with the like whatever. It's like, no, these are real. We're like blood and bone. We're just like them. Drink some water. We're just like them. And that's what scares them. You guys, I have, in my life, in my 53 years that I have walked this earth, I have dressed up to the nines where like people are like, who's that? You know what I mean? When I walk in a room, and I can walk into a room just rolled out of bed with my hair, in a mess or in a bun on my head and look like, home free, which I pretty much am. But I do have home. And I get treated the same way. Because we just have a light around us. If you found yourself here, you're one of us. Like, you're a part of our tribe. So, you can live amongst the muggles and you can pretend like you're not who you are. But, the masks are going to have to come off. You see that? Also, lapis lazuli came in today. So work with lapis lazuli and work with amethyst. This is so exciting. Bubba set this whole thing up. That's what I'm saying. Like, the other time she peed, I didn't understand. And each thing I understood and I forgave her. But like, what upset me the other day or last night was like, I don't, and I probably will understand at some point, but I don't understand why spirit has me do these things for her, or she has me do these things for her just to like make it harder for me. So I don't know what that means. So look deeply into your life right now. Reflect and release, like look back on like what's going on, what's going good in your life and what is not going so good. Because what's not going so good, we're a week away from a new moon, right? We're just a few days from the third quarter moon, and then, so we're about 8 or 9 days out. So in this time, start thinking about it. Reflect on what you want to let go of and release it, and reflect on what you want to bring into your life. I'm thinking about doing vision boards. I forgot, I was in Michael's I guess I wasn't meant to be, but I was in Michael's the other day, and it's so funny. I literally said to myself, I need to get a poster board when I go in there. And I went in there and I did not get a poster board. So I guess spirit doesn't want me to do that, or they want me to take like something from around here. I could probably just take a cardboard box. I mean, you know what I mean? Where it's like, you don't need to buy a piece of poster board. So yeah, maybe that's messages to all of us. Like, do a vision board, go around, find things, there are things like packaging. I don't want to go through all my stuff right now, cause then I have to, disassemble, but like right now I'm looking at a box that says tea lights. Well, I was laughing the other day because it's Ashland, which is not, I usually, I try to get the healthier candles, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But make sure that you keep your windows and stuff open so that ickiness can get out. But the other day I was thinking about, I'm like, should I move back to Oregon? I'm like, I wonder if I should move back to Oregon. So this might be for one of you guys, because I've been thinking about it, because, when spring comes in the next like 6 to 8 weeks, I have to move again. I could stay on this property or go to one of our landlord's other properties, but I'm feeling like I'm either going to go further into town, where I'm living, or I feel like I'm meant to go somewhere new. And it was so bizarre because literally like seconds after I said that, I mean, I could look around anywhere, if I could turn you around right now and see like all my decks and like all my, you know what I mean? Like there's so many things that have words or like phrases or something. And I just happen to like turn around and I see the fucking tea lights and I see Ashland. And I was like, that's so weird. I was just thinking about Oregon. So if you're, maybe this is for you, maybe you've been thinking about moving, or you've been thinking about, going somewhere. Also, before I forget, you guys, I don't have any of your numbers. Um, Actually, I did see a text from you, Jess, so I do have yours. But anybody else, if you have my personal cell number, please text me, because I don't have your numbers anymore. It's kind of weird. When I lost my phone, it's a long story. Or I didn't lose my phone, excuse me, when it died. um, it just kind of took everything with it. The good news is that the screen is just broke. So it turns on and off, which means I will be able to get my stuff, but I don't know how to do it yet. And I may have to bring it to one of those professional people that like put it up on a, whatever, and have it put down on a thing for you. So anyway, I've been trying to say that in every video, because I know that you guys don't watch all of my videos, so yeah. And email me if you want to reach out, or if you would like to have a session with me. You can message me too. You can message me if you have my number, or you can email me. Okay, so yeah, just all these changes. I'm like holding the lapis, like all of these changes are happening, and this growth and expansion that's happening is really intense. Every time I'm with Alder, I have different experiences. It's really bizarre. Some days I'm like, I'm with him and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, we're gonna work things out. Everything's great. I'm like, we're fine. I'm like, he's just going through his shadow, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then other days I'm just like, I'm so glad we're not getting back together. I'm like, I don't want to deal with him anymore. And he said the same thing to me. And it's like, and so what I realized is love is fucking fickle, and love is hard. And I think people are starting to see like what true love means. So for me, I started to realize that, loving ourselves and loving each other is how we're going to really change and evolve on the planet. And having self-respect and respect for others, even when they don't love you and they don't respect you, you can still love and respect them back. And it's fucking tough, because sometimes I'm just going to say it. Sometimes it feels like I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to. That's okay. Because when you're feeling that means you're in your shadow, but you need to work through that and then get the fuck out of it. Because what's happening is people are getting trapped in their shadow right now, or they're getting trapped in their ego, or they're getting trapped in their little fucking circus they made for themselves. Because that's what I'm saying. I'm like, what's funny? I don't know if I'm correct, but I remember some years back, I think when he was in office, I won't say their name and call them out, but one of my friends calls him T-Clown. I mean, I know other people do, but I mean that they call him that. But I don't want to make fun of people, because if we didn't have people like Trump, honestly, I'll just say his name because it's a beautiful word. It's to me, it's interesting that it's. I mean, look at that, right? Because he's always got to win. I have the Trump card. I'm gonna win. I wonder if that derives from their family, because they are from a long line of, And also, I have this deck, this vintage deck that I found that was, it's called a Trump deck. And I was like, I wonder if that's his family. But I started to realize that all of these things that are happening may be to finally put him in jail. Because even back in my day, there were whispers of certain celebrities and certain people who had a lot of money, because Elon Musk wasn't there. Do you know what I mean? Like Bill Gates, like all these people, like some people, they may have been there, but they weren't like, you know what I mean? Like Trump was like a legacy money, was old money, it was old power money, like the Rockefellers and shit like that, the Koch brothers. These guys who were the big industrialists of the 1800s, who, they're like, we built America so we can fucking run it. And all they did was tried to turn it into their own little backward ass fucking cowboy monarchy. So I know from personal experience and watching things that I was like, okay, this is fucked up. That I would not be surprised if they're doing this so that they can kind of trap him, because he gave so much money to people. He's done so many underhanded, shady fucking deals. He is absolutely tied to the mob. I'm from the south side of Chicago. The mob energy was rampant. It was very real. And then when I worked downtown, it was very real. And then one of the last cool events that I did before I moved, so long story short, I grew up in Chicago, moved to LA, moved back, moved to another state, moved back. And so I had moved back in my late 30s and I went back to college for fashion design. And my dress, I was in this competition and my dress was like it was the winner of like the majority vote, like people like of claps or whatever. It was pretty cool. But anyway, Mayor Daley, when I was growing up as a kid, Mayor Daley was like a celebrity in Chicago, and everybody knew that he was connected to the mob. We all knew it. That's why Chicago was so beautiful. That's why Chicago had no garbage, everybody will tell you, if you look at history, when the Daleys left fucking office of Chicago is when it went to fucking shit because the mob was still running Chicago, just under the ground. So you don't want to, it's like Jack Nicholson in that movie, where he's like, you can't handle the truth. He's like, you may not like my tactics. Or he's like, but you want me at that wall. You need me at that wall. Because he's like, when it comes up to the enemy, he's like, I have to make decisions that you don't understand because it's either one person or I save a million people. And though his tactics were disgusting and gross and wrong and whatever, he was right. Like, he's like, there are some people who can't handle the truth. They can't handle what's like really happening. They'd rather be spoon fed the bullshit. So the last 2 days that I've been on my phone and not being on my phone for several days. And I mean, Alder came over and he's like, I go, dude, I haven't like been on my phone or like, I haven't even listened to music. I was like telling everything and he goes, how does that feel? And I go, pretty damn good. He's like, yeah, I know what you mean. So it was very enlightening. And I didn't realize because I'd been hustling like a fucking bitch, man. I'd been hustling to get my channel to 1,000 subscribers, which we're at 1,000 subscribers, you guys. Congratulations. I can't believe I didn't start with that. I feel like I need to do something else for that. But it's a weird energy. And just to put like, I don't want to talk out of, no, I'm going to put that aside for another day or I may never talk about it. But I had something happen when, yeah, you know what? I'm going to put a pin in that right now. Something's telling me to share that, but something's telling me to share that at another time. This basically is about us, and this is about this week, and this is about the energy that's going on. And basically, I just want to tell you that, have faith because there could be a lot of things that are happening underground that we don't see and we don't know about. And once we do, we'll know. Do you know what I mean? But until then, right now, we just got to roll with the punches and stay in our world, stay in our bubbles. And, I've actually been thinking about limiting my time again, like on my phone. And then I thought, if I have to fucking put a thing on my phone, then that means I'm addicted to my phone. And if I'm addicted to my phone, then I need to ask myself, like, why am I addicted to my phone? And why, so I realized in working towards my goal of 1,000 subscribers, I was like hustling every day, and some days posting 3 to 6 times a day, especially if I'm posting on all of our channels, me, Bubba, and the Magical Medium. So Bubba, for now, I don't know if she'll ever want me to do anything on her channel. Sometimes I think it was just for me to have like, memories, like, and then other times I'm like, oh, maybe she's just like on a hiatus, but we'll see. But Lula's Labyrinth, it was really interesting. When I first came back, the only two that were on there were Bubba the Great and the Magical Medium. And I'm like, I started Bubba the Great after Lula's Labyrinth. I'm like, why would that come up but not Lula's Labyrinth? It was so weird. And then I realized I think they were tied to the same email address. So I've been slowly kind of bringing things back in, you know what I mean? And like figuring out like how to work things. And that's what happened with my phone. When I thought that he didn't have the SIM card, I was like, all right, I'm tired. It's been a long day. I went to bed. I woke up the next morning, acted like I didn't have my phone because as far as I knew, I didn't have internet. So I just, went about my day, got her set up for the day, got me set up. And then I got calm and quiet, meditated, took care of myself. And then I opened my phone and followed the prompts and I figured it out. And I was like, oh, that's what I did. I'm like, well, yeah, if I took off Mobile Connect or something. I'm like, that I'd never seen that feature before. It wasn't on my phone. And I'd had my phone for 7.5 years. So, phones have changed a lot. And even though it was a very similar, it was like a higher version of my phone, it's almost crazy like how not identical, but just like how it was so easy to adapt to it. You know what I mean? Because there's so many things that are still the same. They just kind of like, I'm sure they do the same thing with like iPhones. And anyway, I have Android. And so I use Samsung Galaxy and it's my favorite. Galaxy, of course. I was putting the box away and I laughed to myself. I'm like, of course, Spirit. I'm like, of course, Galaxy. Oh, Mama, do you want me to fix that? She just got up to drink her water and I saw her use her pee pad and I think she wanted me to flip it over. That's the thing that's been hard. Like she'll go and lay in like, and I know it's going into the pad, but still like she'll go and lay down like there again. And I'm like, I have pee pads everywhere. But that's okay. She's getting to the point where she's incontinent, and that's why I wasn't mad at her. I was just frustrated because she watched me put the bed together. I was talking to her about it. I said, this is if you have an accident. So when she purposely did it, I'm like, what are you trying to show me? I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, I don't get it. But I will at some point, I'm sure. Okay. So interesting that this says rest and hypnose number 20. So in the cards, let me get the book. They have different, like, I'll see what they call them. So they have different like portions of the card, and it's called deep, dark, and dangerous. So they have deep section of the cards, the dark section of the cards, and the dangerous section of the cards. So this is in the dark section of the cards, and it is number 61. Also, I'm glad I kept these, Anna, because even though I love, where are your glasses? I think I might have put them away. Even though I love your glasses, I love them and they're beautiful. My literally like you can see the fingerprints on them. My eyesight isn't, thank goddess, that bad yet. So it's like, I have to look at it kind of like a thing and it kind of gives me a headache. However, I'm either I will and I'll need them later, so I'll hold on to them, or they're meant to be where like I'm meant to give them to somebody else. You know what I mean? But like I'm like a low level reader. That's why these are broken and funny. I literally get them at like the dollar store. I've had these for like 7 or 8 years. And I don't go to dollar stores very often anymore. That's why I don't have anymore, but I do need to buy some. I'll do that soon. But I've actually been working on my eyes. I've been trying to strengthen my eyes and it's been working. And you know what else is interesting? Not looking at my phone for all those days. Oh, just the last 2 days I've been like this, it's so bad. And I've got it on like the good things for my eyes. It doesn't matter. It's like, I feel like my body's just like, yeah, we don't want that. Ooh, yay. If I look at it from far away, I can see it. Okay. So it says, prioritize rest and sleep. Allow yourself to dream. You need the grace of rest to be at your best. The unconscious has great depth and power, so explore it if you can. Use your imagination. Do not stay asleep to your potential. Awaken to your power. The duality of this card is asleep versus awake and test versus test, Freudian slip. I've been tested up the yin yang. Have you been getting tested up the yin yang? I have been. I mean, like crazy. Is that being racist? What does that mean? The yin yang. It's just something that was like in my, from my life, but like, can somebody tell me? Or does that just mean something? Because I was like, is that like yin and yang? I'm like, yin yang. Like what? And you know how something you could say something a million times and you're like, because I've been changing and really working on like my languaging and like what's coming out of my mouth and really feeling the ancestors. So, it could be the dragons trying to like, force us to, I went through the 7 stages of death when my phone went. I mean, that's why I said I did a video on it. I don't know if I'll post it. We'll see. I tried to upload it and it was having all these complications. So I took it as a sign not to upload it. So I don't know if that means they don't want me to upload it or because I could do a shorts with Baba, you know what I mean? Kind of thing. Anyway, so asleep versus awake and rest versus activity is the duality of this card. Interesting. I feel like that too. Like, remember I was just talking about the politics and this like takeover, this, oh my gosh, it keeps coming out. I was thinking crossover, like from, interesting. Oh my gosh, what is happening? Oh, and Ra just like went behind a cloud. What is happening? I wonder. Interesting. Interesting. I'm just going to hold space for this right now because a lot is going through my brain right now. But think about this for a second. Think about it. There are people who are awake right now and see through the fakery and the fuckery and the bullshit. And there are people who are still asleep. And they're like, because, I mean, some of the, not even politicians, but just people who are influential on the planet or have a lot of money are like, they're like, I just feel like the people that follow him are just such a lower intelligence. And I started to realize like, it's not about that. It's about the phones. It's about this disconnection. It's just this like demagogue. He's like, he and Musk have like built up this like weird I mean, I can go on and on with these other leaders. This is the takeover. This is what I'm saying. Like they're trying to take over the planet. Like they're trying to, when I saw the thing where they were trying to get other countries to be with us, I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? I'm like, what is happening? So there's some crazy, crazy, crazy ass shit that's happening. Cause I'm like, am I the only one that's like, these guys need to be in prison? Like, I feel like they're like Lex Luthor and like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, what is fucking going on? Especially being on the planet as many years as I have, it's like, there's just some weird shit that's happening. So I think it's going to be this kind of, I mean, we know we're in a spiritual war, but I feel like it's just going to like amp up of people who are awake and people who are asleep. And, it's interesting is that, about 4 months ago, Bernie Sanders kept coming into my orbit. And so, every time I'd see his shorts or whatever, I'd watch them. But what really like upset my heart yesterday is I saw this shorts with him that was recent. And because I've been seeing them every so often, I was like, oh my God, he looks like he's aged 10 years. Like he looked really good for his age, like several months ago. And now it's like, because you just see that because he's under so much distress, he's really concerned. He's like, you guys, do you not fucking see what's going on? He's like, this is, and people have been saying, he's the best president we never had. And I'm like, totally, like, drink some water. So just know like people like him exist and people like him with money exist. So this year is going to be a great shedding. It's a 9 year and 2026 is about 10 in completion. So we're going to see shit this year that we've never seen. There are 2 drones, but I know they're not drones. There's some form of like spaceship or something that are, ooh, hello. What kind of bird is that? I think that's a raven. Hello, raven. That are like on either side of me. I feel so divinely protected. I can't even tell you. So just have faith, have trust, and have hope. And even when you see the gross stuff, just remember that, have you ever seen the movie called Wag the Dog? I think that's the name of it, with Dustin Hoffman. And I can go on and on. There's like a lot of celebrities in it. But that movie was like a foretelling and foreshadowing of like where we are right now. Basically what they do is they create a war in a country that doesn't exist because people don't know, because people are so uneducated, and they're like, we can create. So just remember there's a lot of illusion that's going on right now, and it's our job to see past the illusion. It's our job to see past the fakery and the fuckery. It's our job to hold the light. It's our job to say, go away before a house falls on you too. Like, it's just a matter of time before these fucking deck of cards fall, okay? So I wouldn't be surprised if things are going to go in a really nice fashion so he can have his, whatever, and his, like, feed his demagogue fucking ego and whatever. And then there might be a shakedown, takedown. Because if I know anything about the mob, and I do, because one of my dearest friends growing up, her father was the head of the fucking Greek mafia in Chicago. I can tell you so many stories. So many. So many. And I've been in so many speakeasies and didn't know at the time that I am what I am, and would feel this energy, and as gross and fucked up as this may sound to some people, I felt so safe when I was growing up in Chicago. I know shit happened and whatever, but like it changed, because sometimes, like, you got to do what you got to do. The one thing that I don't approve killing and all that. Of course not. Of course not. But the one thing that I loved about, that kind of mentality, it was always about family. It was always about taking care of each other. But it was also, I mean, depending on the mob and the gang and whatever. And that's why there were wars, right? Because there were those who were on the up and up, like Al Capone, like he, you may not like him or you may not like his tactics, but he, if you look at history, there's a lot of these guys that they really did think they were doing the right thing. I'm not saying it was, but they really did think they were doing the right thing. And the ones that would go in and take over neighborhoods and blah, 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 like they would set their shit straight too. They were just about keeping the peace, man. They were just fucking sweeping up the garbage. And then it just, then you get the greed and you get the darkness of other gangs that are like, let's take out the, you know what I mean? I'm going to rule this place. Because it's like, that's what fucking happens, the shadow. And it's interesting that we're on the dark side of the moon when the inauguration is happening. And right at the very last day of Capricorn. So there's some grounding earth energy. We'll just hold tight to that. But it is going to be an energy that's changing. And then we're going to be changing the moon cycle too, to rest and restore. And it could just be that like, maybe he'll get in there and, but he did so many underhanded deals with so many politicians that they had to sway the vote or they had to blah, 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 or else they would be exposed. But now you have so many that are going to be exposed that they're kind of like, now what can we do to, so I don't know. I think this year is going to be very interesting. Now, mind you, this could be some fantasy all in my head, but that's what I saw years ago. And I thought it was going to happen then. And maybe it, that was January 6th. You know what I mean? I don't know. But this, I don't know. So this says, in this busy world, people are having more and more problems with turning off and getting some quality rest and sleep. The ancients, though, knew how important sleep was, how it is even a crucible for processing ideas and invention. Hypnos was the Greek god of sleep and was born from Nyx, which is night, the dark mother. A twin, he was often pictured hand in hand with his brother Thanatos, death. Often the brothers would shadow each other in their work. While featuring in a number of myths, Hypnos was generally seen as a benevolent and relief-inducing deity and honored for his place in well-being and health. Temples to Hypnos were often constructed in sanctuaries and healing places. The Greeks, oh, that's interesting. I was just talking about my friend's dad. The Greeks also recognized that too much sleep could be a symptom of depression or lethargy. Continually disconnecting from the world by slipping hand in hand with Hypnos may well mean you are depressed or lacking in energy, both situations for which you should reach out and seek professional assistance. So, this is just a book and someone's whatever. Like sometimes they write things like that because they don't want to be sued. So you take that for what that is. In one story, Hera bribes Hypnos to practice his arts on Zeus so that her favored Hercules gets to make yet another outrageous escape. This is about as naughty as Hypnos gets. In this case, he receives a beautiful bride for his trouble. So worth it. In our modern lives, there is also another time that Hypnos' favor should be courted, and that is in anesthesia. If you are undergoing an operation, why not give a little libation to Hypnos prior to the procedure, as it is traditionally Hypnos who will be guiding the hand of your anesthesiologist as they carefully and artfully send you to a painless sleep. Interesting. So maybe are some of you about to go under something? Anyway, but use the energy of the gods when you go in there, right? So that, or spirit, however you want to look at it. So you have someone to protect you while you're in there, call an Archangel Michael, that kind of stuff. So the plant companion is poppy and the crystal companion is the howlite. Oh, I used to have howlite. I haven't had one in a long time. So that's interesting, you guys. So this is our energy for the week. I'm bringing all this. This is so interesting. So let's just hold space for the United States and the world right now because, as we know, and I'm not saying this because I am a citizen or anything. I'm not always super proud of it. I mean, I'm proud of and grateful for those who died for me. I'm just saying, like, this situation is embarrassing in some ways, right? Except for it's not, because it's not about me, right? I didn't vote him in. I'm like, I didn't vote him in. And it's interesting because, and some of you might poo-poo me, but this was I this was one of the first times I didn't vote, especially because when Hillary was there, I voted. Of course, I was going to, I'm like, there was no way I wasn't going to place my vote for the first time for the first female president candidate ever. And Kamala, I mean, let's put it this way. I tried like 6 times to register to vote, and it just like was so weird because I had moved. And anyway, Spirit told me that I wasn't meant to vote. I wasn't allowed. I wasn't allowed to cast my vote. And I don't know why, but I think it's because he was supposed to win. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there are other spiritual people that may have, because it's part of it. This is part of the destruction. We're in the death card of the tarot. So it's like, I can try and shift it and change it, but it's not going to work. Even with Bubba, I don't know. I said to her yesterday, I'm like, are you leaving in the year of the snake? Because I believe she came to me in the year of the dragon. So I was like, are you leaving with the dragons, And so I said, are your days numbered? And I feel like the more I'm healing her and working on her and bringing her outside, and I was letting her sleep on the bed, and she was doing good. She didn't pee on the bed we were like peas and carrots again. It was awesome. It felt like the old days. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm like, she's getting better. And then it's like, and then she does that. And I think she's trying to tell me, like, don't get too comfortable and stop trying to heal me. Like, she's like, I'm where I'm supposed to be. And I'm like, you know, because I want to control things and I don't want to control things. Like, there's a part of me that genuinely, I don't want to control things. I want things just to fucking go the way they're supposed to go. And then there's the other part of me that's like, I want her to be like this forever. I had a massive breakdown. I said this in one of my other videos, but I had a massive breakdown. Like, I mean, oh, ugly, the ugliest cry you can imagine, where you can't breathe and like you can barely even blow your nose, because I realized that I was never going to see her again like that. And it wasn't about the vanity of her beauty. It was just, if you do go look at her channel, there's a link here, and you see her. I mean, it's like, I call her Baba the Great for a reason. I mean, she was such beautiful, like she's very similar to myself, where she was in a female avatar, but like she was mostly male, just like I am in my chart. I'm 70% masculine in my chart. So interesting. And it was like she was just trying to show me, that, nothing stays, pony boy. You know what I mean? Nothing stays gold, pony boy. Like, and it was like some type of release that I had to let go. I had to just be like, it's okay. I have so many pictures and video. When my phone, cacked out, oh man, I was fucking pissed. I was so pissed because there were so many things that I didn't save and so many things that I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever get those back. And I was really upset, really upset. But I needed to mourn that too, because I feel like Spirit was like, no, you're starting a brand new life. The last time I bought a phone was when I was going home to visit my family, and I bought, that was like, at the time, was the primo phone to buy, and I spent over $1,000 on it with like everything, And I remember even when I went home to see my family, they're like, wow, that's like that new. They're like, oh, can I, like, my one nephew, super tech, and he was just like, can I look at your phone? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, those are really nice. And I was like, yeah. I go, well, I use it for work. I said, it's my laptop. I said, so I just took it as an investment. I was going to get a laptop. And I said, but anyway, I digress. So it's interesting, but that's the last time I bought a phone. And my phone was filled with like so many years, because I was just change out the SD card, And then I got to the point in the last few years, instead of buying a new SD card, I just started cleaning out my phone. And I was like, do I need 30 pictures of Baba? I mean, I love her. Like, in that moment, because I'd be like, because she'd be moving like I'm like I'm a professional photographer, Throat chakra. I feel like Spirit's like, moving on. But you know what I mean? Like, all of these things that were such a great loss to me, like a great loss. I was like, fuck, mama. No, like, I'll be just like heartbroken. I took a lot of beautiful pictures of her in the last few months, because she was, and it's almost like she doesn't want me to have too many pictures of her like that. Like, You know, do you remember that one time she had a big chunk and I was trying to take pictures of her? And there's this one shorts I did where I was like, come on, Baba. And she went, and I swear I heard her go, look away, I'm hideous, because she was so used to her grand mane. So yeah, it's been a change and transformation for both of us. And I will cherish these moments and I will cherish these days with her. And I will cherish that time that my phone went down. Because honestly, when that happened yesterday, I spent all day working on the bed. And when she fucking peed on it, it was my last sheet. I was like, dude, really? Why? I didn't yell or, push her like I did before, which I felt disgusting about myself with. And we've made peace about it. But, because it's tough because she's still her, but she's in this frail body. So it's like, I mean, before, I'd be like, hey, come on, dude, and now it's just like, I don't know, it's just different. And I love her, she's my best friend. And I would never treat my best friend, the way I was treating her. I was treating her like an animal that I'm like, stop peeing on everything in my house. So I had to really come clean with that. And I rectified that relationship with her and with spirit and myself. And also with Alder, I mean, I don't know what's going on. Like I said, there's one part of me that's like the superhero love bug inside of me is like, I'm fighting for this love, I'm like, because I know he's there. Like I know that guy exists. I lived with him too many years. Like I know he exists, but the other guy that's there is like, he needs to be that guy right now. And I need to not judge it or call it, something else or whatever. Like it just is what it is. And I'm going through my stuff and it is what it is. And that's all I can really do is just be. So be the same. Just be, hold space, pull back. These fucking phones are dangerous. I used to think when people said that they were being a little, whatever, but they are. They're fucking dangerous. I'll tell you what, Friday morning, I did not wake up to go look at my phone. Yesterday morning I did, and this morning I did. First thing, it's a habit. And it's only a habit if we make it a habit. And I have to remember that it's a tool and it's a device, and I'm blessed to have one. I'm blessed to have this really nice phone. But you know what? I don't need to be tethered to it 24/7. So I feel like there's going to be some interesting things that are changing. Also, stay tuned. There's a pick. I don't know when they're going to have me post what, when, where. I give the times in that just so you guys can kind of like breadcrumb things together, or maybe like you were going through something at the time and, but I will say this, during that downtime, recording those readings, I was so much more connected to spirit. Like I felt like they wanted us to do all that stuff, during this, because I realized that when I go on here as empaths, we're just soaking up all this fucking bad juju on here. Even if you're like, oh, I'm not a big scroller, blah, 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 but I bet you do. I bet you see at least one little shorts or something, no matter where you are. And I don't know what's going on with TikTok, but I saw something where somebody I subscribe to put something like, now that TikTok's gone. And I was like, what? So did TikTok die? What happened there? Interesting. Because I think people were like making millions of dollars on TikTok, and people were saying like it actually was like really gross and it was like an abyss of like evil and like dark shit. Honestly, I was on TikTok for such a short time. I think my channel's still up there if it's going. But I mean, I couldn't even tell you what my passcodes were. That's the other thing too. My phone lost all my passcodes. So that's interesting. Yeah, a lot of things, a lot of interesting things are happening everywhere. Yeah, because shit's gone too far and now we got to pull it back because, we're not going to let them take over this planet and fuck it. Like they've been doing it for too long and we're just like, nope. Also, Ashland keeps coming up. So I don't know if that's for somebody. Maybe you live in Ashland. Maybe you've been thinking about moving there. I don't know. It could be for me too. I don't know. But I'm just getting this very interesting thing going on right now. The other thing that's interesting is the last video that I did, Bubba wanted to be in it. And this one, she knew I was doing this and she could easily, like, I could have picked her up but she didn't want to be in this one. So just send her some loving, healing energy. She'll go when she's meant to go. I said to her the other day, I was like, or last night when she peed again, I go, I'm not threatening you. Like, I'm not threatening putting you down, like, to be mean. I'm like, I'm not even trying to threaten you. I was trying to, because she was like, meow again, when I was like, dude, we really should think about putting you down. I was like, there's no way you're happy like this. I said, I feel like sorry, I'm on this bench thing and it's like hurting my bum. I should have put a pillow there. But the only thing that is, I feel, I know that she's meant to be here. She's sentient, like she's meant to be here. But sometimes the only time she's happy is when she's eating, because, she loves the food. But that's not enough. That's not a life. And I almost feel like that's like a metaphor for us too, right? Like, we want to live a full life. We don't want to live a partial good life. Like, oh, I mean, people who get up in the morning, and I remember when I used to cry. I used to fucking cry. I talked about this in the last video. I would literally cry when my alarm would go off when I had to go to some of my jobs. Like, I remember that. I know what that feels like. And I just know that sometimes we have to go through some really shitty, awful shit so that so the good stuff can come through. And I feel like this is like a wake-up call for you guys. Like, if you are dreading your whole day, but the only thing you're looking forward to is like maybe your show at night, or getting that latte, or, your favorite pizza or something like that. Like, yes, definitely do those things. Like, that does, bring the endorphins of happiness up. But if your day to day is drudgery and despair and no, as my friend Guinevere used to say, no bueno, which means no good in Spanish. No bueno. No good. It's no good. You have to, you don't have to do anything, but the whole point of being human is to enjoy it. And if you stay in the present, like they were saying in the car, they were talking about, if you're sleeping too much, you're feeling depressed, that's because you're going somewhere else. And it's okay to mourn where you are, and mourn the past, but then get out of it. You have to work with it, then get out of it. Like, the last week when she was peeing, I didn't get upset about it because I knew I had backups and I was okay with it. When I got really upset with her last night, and I wasn't like yelling at her, I was just like, dude, I'm like, I thought we blah, blah, blah. And then I went through the whole thing, which I could have just let it go and not said anything. And she's just like, meow, But I was like, I literally had said to her, like, this is the last one. And it's funny because Alder and I keep trying to have these long things apart, and every time we both want it, and every time we're apart for so many days, she'll do stuff like that, where now I'm like, I have to go to the laundromat. I mean, I'm out of stuff, and I can hand wash some things, but some things I cannot hand wash. I don't have the capacity or the water or you know what I mean? So it's like they're trying to force us to see each other, so he has to take me to the laundromat. It's kind of funny. But I think it's because she's trying to make sure he doesn't go too far off the map. And I realized that in the last decade of my ascension on Earth and through my whole awakening process, just how much I have gone in and out and in and out of like my past, my present, and manifesting for the future. And looking back and looking at how many things I actually manifested. But just because they didn't work out 100% doesn't mean that I didn't manifest it and it wasn't meant to be. It just means it wasn't meant to be that long, or that amount or that place, or, it was a lesson. It was only ever meant to be a lesson. Sometimes our manifestations are really just us giving us ideas for something that we need to go through. It feels like a manifestation, but it's actually our higher self and spirit co-conspirating to get us to where we need to be. Even if it looks like, sunshine and roses on the outside, but it's a fucking pickly, moldy mess on the inside. Well, you got to deal with that shit. You got to get to the bottom of it. You got to clean it. And the more I've been working on this house by myself, the more I've been like, do I want to get rid of it? Like, I saw that there's a place in town that is very similar to like the situation that I'm in. It's with other people. And I was like, So I'm thinking I might actually go and set up an interview and see like it's like a community. Well, it's not like a community. It is a community, but they're an off-grid community, but they help each other. So I was like, maybe that's what I'm meant to do. I'm like, Because I've been doing these little projects myself and it's actually been empowering me. And I remembered how much like I love doing things for myself. And though I love having, a man where I'm like, I need help. Even the other day I caught myself feeding Alder's ego because like I'm so used to doing that. It's like we have this empath narcissist, both of us are empaths and narcissists, you know what I mean? Like this like yin and yang, he's the sun, I'm the moon, this relationship, we're like learning so much from each other. And I just like had this moment where I kind of like looked at things in such a different way, where I realized what spirit was like trying to show me, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. And that's what we have to put forward is love and getting grounded. And you saw me like, I mean, it's so easy to get ungrounded from these things, and we can lie to ourselves and tell ourselves that we need our phones or we need to do this or we need to do that. Now I don't feel that pressure. It's like like I've been looking, it's been exactly 1,000, because I'm like, what happens, because they sent me a whole thing and they're like, congratulations. And I've been staying strong and steady, which is great. But I was like, that's interesting. I'm like, what happens? I'm like, maybe because I've been on such a steady incline for so long that they're like, no, they'll hold you steady even if you fall through. I'm like, maybe they don't show you. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, or we're just holding steady. But either way, thank you so much. And congratulations to all of us, Alder, Baba, myself, you, I mean, all of us did this, and we are just going to keep building this tribe. We're going to keep getting the word out. We are Christ consciousness. We are here for love. We are here for grounding. We are here for support. But we are also here for the no nonsense bullshit. Like, we're not going to fucking take certain things. We're not going to listen to certain things. We're not, we're going to do what we have to do, and avoid the things that are not healthy for us. And I feel like that'll be another episode. But anyway, do you want us to pull any more cards, Spirit? Because I feel like that's it for the week. And I asked if they wanted another deck and they said no. So in real time, today is the 19th. So we're in a 9-year. 9 and 9 is 18. Plus 1 is 19. Plus January is 1 is 20. So we're in a 2-day, which means tomorrow is going to be a 3. That's interesting, right? The 20th. Yeah. 9. Oh, wait, no. Wait, hold on. So tomorrow's the 20th. So 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 3. For a second, I was like, is that 11 day? That's so interesting. I guess we'll see what happens. Let's just pray for a peaceful transfer. And whatever is meant to be will be. We just have to hold the light and the space for it while it goes through. Wow, it's interesting. This whole time, I mean, it's been fun having Rob. At the same time, I'm like, I was so warm, and all of a sudden I'm like, whew, I'm cold. I'm cold without it. Do we have any more messages, Spirit? So look out for a third quarter reading. I don't know when that's today's in real time Sunday, so that's Tuesday. I like to do things on moon days, on Mondays, but I don't know if they're going to have me do anything tomorrow. They may have me wait until Tuesday. Yeah, it'll probably, Tuesday. And I have 3 pick-a-cards, podcast pick-a-cards. They had me do them that way. It's better. It's better for us to kind of like get into it that way. And then in the community section, I'm going to put pictures of the oracle cards or the tarot cards that we use. But they were really powerful. The one that we did, the Pick Your Tarot deck, that was for what 2025 is going to bring. That was really interesting. And the one I'm posting today, I believe I'm posting today, I did on the 111 portal. Super fucking powerful. The day my phone died. But she held on because I put her in tether, and she held on until the next day so I can upload that video. It was almost 4 hours. It was so intense. And then I also did a podcast pick a card from the spirit animals. And that one was super powerful. Oh my gosh. Oh, can I tell them? They're like, you can tell them. I'm like, cool. So we had messages from skunk, white buffalo, black panther, and horse. So stay tuned. I have to get familiar with my setup. See what I mean about getting grounded? Ouchie wowie. That's what I mean. Especially when you live in a tiny home. This is brand new. See, I learned right in front of you. So lots coming down the pipeline. Let's take good care of ourselves and each other. I'm going to go take care of this. Throw a little maybe fennel oil on there or something, owie, or some wintergreen oil so it doesn't bruise. And yeah, I'm working on a lot of things, you guys. When I had downtime, I was, putting tinctures together in my mind and working more with like the plant medicines and things like that. So there's a new me coming through this year. There's a new sheriff in town. But I'm also still going to be using Lula's Labyrinth to play. I thought that they wanted me to take a break from that because it didn't show up right away. But then they like sent me the breadcrumbs to figure it out. And it was so easy that I could have done it that day, but I wasn't meant to. So definitely look out for Lula's Labyrinth, and you can subscribe to Baba if you'd like. I don't know if we're going to have any more videos, but there's still a bunch there you can support her if you want to. All of my information is on this channel if you'd like to work with me one-on-one. And yeah. What else? Oh, and if you'd like to support this channel, you click on Welcome Witches, Healers, and Deep Down Believers, and it's got all of my information, all my links to anything that you would like to contribute or participate in, and prayers work too. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other, and hold the light as much as you can this week, okay? And I don't know if this is going to be a regular thing, but you know me, I always go with the flow. I used to be a pattern person, so they're either going to have me start doing things on a regular basis because they are having me do 4 moon readings a month. And again, I don't know how long that's going to last, but just, stay tuned. That's the fun thing about my channel. You never know what you're going to get. All right, I'll see you next time. Blessed be at home. Bye. Love you. Bye.